Welcome back. Oluwasegun Olajuwan is joining me right now. He's the MD at THLD Group and founder. He's the founder of Autogas Africa. Welcome, Segun, and thanks for joining us today. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get started. We're looking at gas issues. We'll take a look at even the prices of, or the price of gas, LPG, and perhaps the auto gas conversion. We'll also try as much as possible to take a look at gas as an alternative. But let me start from the premise of cooking gas. The last time I checked, 12.5 kg of cooking gas is going for 10,000 naira. As at the last time I checked. What do you think is the cost of this astronomical increase in the price of gas? Almost every day it increases.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. For cooking gas, again, as we all agree, we do importation as well. There's a percentage that we get from Nigerian LNG locally. Worldwide, the price of gas has gone up. Here in the UK, it's gone up as well. So many companies have gone bust anyway because they cannot afford to provide the services of gas to their customers. So yeah, it's high. The price is very high, and obviously, forex and quite other things are determining factor for the price of cooking gas. So the prices are coming down. You know, maybe they're not really sharing those information clearly or correctly. But prices are coming down as well. But this is the first time it's going to go this high, you know, 11 point something million for 20 metric ton. And don't forget, most of these depots are reservoirs for gas. They are not producers. They just buy and they save in their depot and sell by trucking system. There are other means of distribution of gas, you know, Nigerian LNG, but obviously the bridge is still under construction. That's another means where we can get LPG via trucking. So when these guys buy, they have to factor in the cost of insurance, the cost of storage, because there's so many factors that determine, and there's quite a few of them. You know, when there were about 4 or 5 depots, we thought more will increase demand, supply rather, and the price will come down. But again, we have about 8 or 10 now. They're still selling at the same price. So we don't know. We need to ask these guys what's going on with pricing and why, despite the fact that there are more suppliers, the prices are also that high. So yeah, that's what I feel. We're not sellers of gas. We don't know why they're making it this expensive.
Segun, did I hear you right earlier when you said that the price of gas is coming down? Do you mean the international price of gas or the price of gas, LPG, in Nigeria? Cooking gas, do you mean, what do you actually mean when you said the price of gas is coming down?
Actually, both the international price and the Nigerian price is also coming down. It is coming down. As of last week, the prices are not significantly coming down, but there are obvious reduction in prices. But again, don't forget, there is a chain of reflection whereby it's going to reflect the prices. The depot might sell cheaper, but that who is buying 20 ton will probably not ready to reduce his price. He needs to recover of previous loss. So he sells, buy 20 ton, he sells 5 ton or 10 ton to another buyer, and that, you know, the chain goes as far as going back to those that buy 12.5, even the 3 kg. So we might not see the effect, but actual price of gas, even in Nigeria, is coming down. International market, it's also coming down, not significant coming down, but we will have to wait to see that chain of pricing reflect the reduction as well.
Why do you think that the price of international gas is coming down? Is it because of winter? Because I've also been studying the price of gas, at least in the past few months, and from your analysis that it's coming down, but not so significant, because if you take a look at the price, I'm trying to check it out this morning, the price of natural gas, so that I can come to you with facts. But if you take a look at the Nigerian part of it, you would not only say it's just international prices. We know that the international prices. We also know that we have our own bottlenecks. There's the FX valuation part of this. There's the infrastructure part of it. There's the how many people are importing this commodity despite Nigeria being the 9th producer of gas in the whole world. So what's your analysis about what I've just said? Why do you think it's coming down? That's for international prices.
Demand,
then come over to what I said concerning Nigeria.
Yeah, well, international markets, you know, when it's winter, it's always like that. But this is the first time it's gone up that much, whereby people have to struggle to buy. You know, ordinary household here in the UK is increased by almost 200 or 300 pounds a year. So the prices are coming down. Again, we have on the shores of Africa, we have a ship laying around with propane butane mix, just waiting for the call to sell. But what we also have is there's quite some few people that have got so much money that they've secured even the ship that has not arrived, and they're not ready to move on the prices, you know. So the price internationally, again, I will stand on it. It's coming down, but the Nigerian market, it's a very difficult one in terms of understanding why the prices do not reflect. People are mostly these sellers. They don't change straight away. You know, when the price is coming down, they take time to reduce the price, but they are quick to increase the price. So again, these guys, again, you can't blame them. Some of them have taken a huge amount to build their facilities, and some of them are taking bank loans at a very high rate to recover and to repay these loans. So the reflection of price coming down will be slow, but the reflection of price going up will be very quick. So that's my own view, and it will take its time. But again, the festive period is also here. People want to take advantage of that. So maybe after Christmas, you will see significant reduction in this price. Unfortunately, that's a fact.
Do you still think that we will see a significant decrease, especially concerning the Nigerian market? Though you've highlighted the international component of it, but in Nigeria, there are some other factors that contribute to what we're seeing right now. Which of these factors do you think is impacting the Nigerian gas market more?
Yeah, local production from the supply from Nigerian LNG, they've promised to increase the amounts they supply in the local markets. You know, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a lot more. But again, I stand to be corrected. Nigerian LNG, we are making more money selling abroad than selling locally. So it's a whole lot of fact checking. You know, there are other companies that can. You know, we have Quality Hydrocarbon. They produce about 95% propane, which is not the one we need. We have the likes of Greenville that out of their LNG, they also have a certain percentage of propane and butane. And we have other companies that can make available these LPG of propane butane mix, you know, and it's very important to understand. But like I said, these guys, for instance, Quality Hydrocarbon, Indorama is buying practically almost all their propane. So even for you to use it to mix, it's difficult. The waiting time is a long one. So do we need more guys to come up and do more of these? Yes. Do we need Nigerian LNG to inject more locally? Yes. But again, they've promised they will do that. So we're hoping they have been doing that. You know, we're hoping that this will increase beyond. We still have about 6-7% people using gas. So we still need to have more of these injected into the system. So there's a whole lot of factor. Infrastructure is also a problem. You know, people need to build infrastructures, and there's a lot. You tend to see more cylinder refueling stations across, but don't forget they are relying on a very few supply system. So it's not how much you have in filling stations. It's not how much tanks you have in filling stations. It's about the supply system that is available for those filling stations. And a lot of people are profiteering on this thing. They buy 20 metric tons. They don't even have a filling station to take it to, but they have to resell in bits and bobs here and there. So a whole lot of things is happening there, whereby it's making these prices to go up. Unfortunately, as a common Nigerians that will have to suffer for it.
The federal government last year declared 2020 as the year of gas, and from 2021 to 2030 as the decade of gas. With the seemingly gas crisis that we're having right now in Nigeria, and the federal government has said that they can really do nothing to assist Nigerians on that, because to an extent the market is liberalized. It's not a subsidized market. How do you see this playing out? The decade of gas, how possible is that?
Yeah, it's very possible. You know, again, we need to let Nigerians know that there are different gases. You know, we have LNG, LPG,
CNG.
and CNG by compressing of natural gas. So don't forget the cooking gas is LPG, and the combination of butane and propane at 80-20%, depending on how the mix is approved by DPR, which now they've changed their name. So we also have propane on its own. For auto gas, propane on its own is the best fuel we need for gas. So it is way cheaper than butane propane mix, you know. But again, that's a compromise structure at the moment. So we need to put LPG aside for now. Now we now go back to natural gas, which we have in abundance, which we flare and all of those things. We can get the natural gas and do a compression system whereby the natural gas will be compressed to achieve CNG, compressed natural gas. And that's where you see the likes of the Dangote trucks with the cylinders at the back, they're powered by that. We have the BHN logistics with also gas powered. We have Greenville that has got about 600 trucks that are LNG powered. So these are liquefied natural gas. These are compressed natural gas. And again, we have the option of LNG regasification, whereby LNG will be transported and regasified on site and changed to CNG. So these are gases that are the one the government will and are promoting as an alternative, as a decade of gas for transportation, which is my expertise. I'm not talking about power generation. I'm not talking about reticulation into homes and all of that, but I'm focusing on transportation because, again, that's a bit whereby it's going to reflect the changes in terms of introduction of gas. So we have LNG, which is, I think it's about maybe 140, 150 equivalent liter of it. CNG, the last time we purchased CNG was about 145 naira equivalent liter of it. So for that, it is a doable thing, you know. So there's a whole lot of, we have the likes of Gasco Marine, we have the likes of Power Gas, we have the likes of Axila, we have all of these big guys that have already invested huge amount of money in gas production, and easily they can make a switch to achieve this decade of gas as promised by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Now let's stick with what you just said, which is about auto gas conversion in the transport sector. Can you speak to me and my audience about how you think this will work? At the beginning of this program, I did say that I'm actually curious when the Minister Silva, announced this last year, I think the auto gas conversion, that cars can now convert from petrol to CNG. I'm actually curious if his car is on it, if his Jeep or his convoy is on it. Yes, and I know they're listening or they're watching me now, and charity should begin at home, so you should start with him by convincing Nigerians. Shegu, you're smiling. Do you know if he's on that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually, the Honorable Minister's car is on it. It's on gas. We converted it.
Okay,
so,
okay. Okay, so you
yeah,
converted
that's why I'm
it.
smiling.
Okay, good, because I saw you smiling. I wanted to ask about that, because you can't preach to Nigerians to convert their cars from petrol to gas, and you're still on petrol. So fantastic that you said you converted it. Now that comes to my question. How does this really work? You know, for my own car now, can I just walk into a gas station and convert it? And what do you think are the advantages of converting my car from petrol, or Nigerians watching right now, from petrol to gas? Bearing also in mind that the federal government has it in mind that in 2022, fuel subsidy will be removed. So will the gas conversion of my car be another alternative? Since subsidy will be removed on fuel, will gas be a cheaper alternative?
Yeah, actually, gas would be a very, very good, cheaper alternative to subsidy removal. That's the plan. Again, before I go into what you've just said, there's a particular country which I'm part of the project. They artificially increase the price of petrol, and just to allow gas to be adopted. They have a very good infrastructure now. You know, when I say artificial increasement of price of petrol, they actually increase it. There was no need to increase the price of petrol. In the case of Nigeria, there is a genuine need to increase the price of petrol. So they were able to achieve the switch to gas. And it's a matter of demand and supply. Conversion of vehicles to run on gas is there. It's been there for years. You know, we've been promoting this in Africa for the past 6-7 years, thereabout. We are very, very good at that. But the problem is the Nigerian mentality, and which is the same thing with other African countries, is the fear of gas. But the safety of a gas-powered vehicle is even stronger, more advanced in technology and in reality compared to petrol and diesel. So unless you have a intentional mind to destroy a conversion, there's no how a gas-powered vehicle is going to have any issue to raise concern. In Kenya, for instance, when we converted one of the taxis, the guy came, no, please, can you cover the tank for me? I don't want my customers to see. They will be scared to drive or go into a gas-powered vehicle, even though there will be savings for him. Ghana, almost 90% of the taxis are on gas, you know. So the safety conversion is possible. The Nigerians are capable of doing that because we've trained quite a few of them, and there's ability to understand the knowledge of conversion of vehicles. But there must be a retrofitting of an engine to run on gas, whereby for petrol engine, it alternates. You know, you can either drive on gas or petrol. You know, if you don't have petrol, you drive on gas. If you don't have gas, you drive on petrol. For diesel engine, we do injection at almost 60-40% into the engine at the same time. So the savings and the conversion process in terms of safety is there. And the federal government, yes, I believe they're working on what best to achieve the use of gas as an alternative. And they're going to go cheap. When I say they're going to go cheap, they'll get the best hands in the world to ensure some cars are converted to run on gas. But the fact is, the government cannot pay for everyone to run on gas. There are some people that have to fork out a whole lot of money to convert. And there's so many components out there, for goodness sake, too many. And we have, again, like I said in one of our events, you could easily go on YouTube and learn how to convert vehicles. So we've said to SON, a standard organization of Nigeria, we've said to NADDC, they need to checkmate this whole thing. So I'll give you a scenario. The way the computer village has developed into the hub it is today, auto gas industry as an alternative for will be in that manner. There will be people that only do calibration. All they need is their computer to do calibration. There'll be people that only do the retrofitting and put the old wiring together. So there's going to be a very big industry that will provide huge amount of job. So we need to get in there to regulate it, or you just see all sorts and all kinds of conversion. And it exposes to explosion and all of that. But again, at the end of the day, there are so many safety features that are installed in this component, whereby there's no need or any concern whatsoever in terms of the use of gas. So it is possible, it is achievable, and the conversion, there's too many components out there that can be achieved in using the adoption to gas for Nigeria.
Shagun, let's still stick a bit with CNG. We'll come back to LPG in a short while. Yes. If we're talking about this conversion, how much, for example, give me an average cost of what it takes to convert to a gas car. Of course, okay, gas, yeah, CNG car, not petrol. Yeah. Because all of them are really byproducts.
It depends. The four-cylinder engine, for instance, the basic ones we have in Nigeria, four-cylinder. Our cheapest conversion for CNG is 300,000 naira.
Shagun, I'm not saying you should talk about your company. I'm just saying give me sorry,
come again?
I'm not saying you should talk about you yourself. You would pay me for that. I'm just saying averagely, tell me how much it would take. Yes, tell me how much it would take to convert, you know, an average car that the Nigerian drives. You know, we have like a popular brand in Nigeria. I don't want to call his name, but that kind of popular brand, how much will it take to convert? And you can give me 3 examples.
About 280,000. The cheapest, the smallest car in Nigeria to run on CNG is about 280,000 naira.
Oh, for conversion. So how much will it take me to keep to fuel it every month, averagely, so to speak? Because you know, there are different kinds of cars. Like in a week, you may say, okay, I'm buying fuel of 10,000 naira, for example, in my car. But for gas, can you have it cheaper?
Yeah, whatever you spend on petrol, you'll be spending half of it. Whatever you spend on it is a simple answer. Whatever you spend on petrol, you'll be spending half of it on gas.
Oh, so
either way you drive it. And that's the return on investment. It's quicker on gas. Yes, whatever you spend on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis, you'll be spending minimum half of it on gas. So recovery is quicker and fast.
so with this alone, that means this is an incentive to convert cars, petrol-driven cars, into gas, CNG cars right now, because this is just an incentive. So, for example, as a taxi driver here in Nigeria, in Lagos or Abuja, and you spend like 10,000 naira a week on fuel, that means with what you're saying, if I convert my car into gas, I'll be spending half of that, about 5K a week, to fuel my car. So why do you think this hasn't really caught up? Is the government not selling this concept well? Or do you think they should use this avenue of, we're going to remove subsidy next year to say, guys, go into CNG? Or can the government also come up with alternatives, transport alternatives, whereby you have the long buses like BRT, for example, in Lagos? And BRT should be running on diesel, I guess, you know, but, or for cars that are fueled by gas, or vehicles that are fueled by, or buses fueled with gas, to ameliorate the transport burden on Nigerians?
Yeah, again, like I said, there's quite a few companies, you know, it has been difficult, trust me. I have been to so many big guys that have promoted the use of gas to them, and they don't really care. They don't. I've been to one that said, I don't have a problem buying diesel. So they don't mind spending more. And there's these, you cannot market a product to someone that's got more excuses against than the one for. So most of the promoters of gas, no disrespect to anyone, they haven't got enough justification to win a very difficult market like the Nigerian market, you know. So there's, or they have reasons not to use gas, and you marketing it, you don't have enough reasons to counter such reasons. So the government are working on it. I can say to you exclusively today, we're bidding 2 LCNG stations for the federal government, one in Abuja, one in Kano. And the reason why it's LCNG, because you can transport LNG that distance and regasify to CNG. So these 2 stations can also offer CNG to other neighboring stations within the state or the FCT and the neighboring towns. So private sector, we have to key into it. The government, we do what they can and do support in every way they can. They are not a business entity, they are government. So private sector, we need to do the needful to ensure we take on this. So again, like you said, leading by example, the government is leading by example. They're gonna switch, like what the Minister of Finance said a few weeks ago on channels. She said some of these vehicles will be converted to CNG. So some of these guys that qualify for this free conversion will be called upon, and all the necessary checks to qualify them to have that free conversion will be done, and conversions will be done for free for some of these guys that impact the masses directly. But individuals that have got 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, we have to make a decision themselves. The same thing is happening in Egypt. The government is switching about 90,000 vehicles to run on gas. They're building filling stations, again, to ensure and to give assurance to investors. Come guys, we're switching to gas, we're investing, we've done this, you can come and do the same. So it is a matter of time. Subsidy removal can't come any better time than when it's coming. So we hope, it's 6 months down the road, but there's a whole lot that needs to be achieved before then. So we hope that we will have, I can guarantee we'll have these 12 CNG stations and we have more of it. So we're very positive about the use of gas for motorists, not just for diesel engines, but also for petrol engines as well.
Segun, you talked about private investment. What do you think, or what kind of environment do private investors really need to come into the gas market in Nigeria? Apart from even the CNG, you take a look at the LPG. We have, I think, about 4 importers, or the last time I checked, 4 importers that bring in LPG into the country. We also have an LNG there producing locally, but whatever they're producing is not enough. Yet this is a country that is the 9th producer of gas, the 9th largest producer of gas in the world. We have gas reserves of 206 trillion cubic feet. The minister has said there is a likelihood that we may have 600 trillion cubic feet, that even the 206 TCF that we have was accidentally discovered. So you can imagine if we dedicate time to even finding gas, we would get more than that, hopefully. So with these kind of potentials, what do you think would really bring in private investors so that the CNG we're talking about, so you don't need to preach so much to people. They know the advantage. They can go into a filling station, convert their cars. The LPG we're talking about, the prices, the force of demand and supply will weigh in. Because if you see more people coming in, prices definitely will adjust.
Yeah, first thing, LNG does have enough to supply. Not that they don't have enough. They have too many. They have enough to supply locally, but they have a mandatory obligation of a certain amount to supply. So again, don't forget, the Nigerian LNG is not owned by just the Nigerian government. So they all have to agree to how much must be injected locally. And locally, we have quite a few companies, to be honest. There's quite a lot of them. Again, the questioner is, what is priority to them? What is major to them? You know, there's a whole lot of companies that are also producing, and the gas commercialization where the flare gas will be captured and be instead of reinjected into the ground, it will be used for usage for Nigerians. So the investors have, again, all the gas investors know the potential of the market that is available in Nigeria. However, they are not taking advantage of it, I don't know. But these guys are still doing business, so they must be selling their gas somewhere, you know. Most of them to power generation and all of that. So we just need a whole lot. We thought we needed more depot, which is gas LPG depot, but I don't think that's a solution, because we have over 10 now and they're still selling at the same price. It's like we all have a meeting. This is the price we're going to sell this month. So we need more producers, actually, not even more depot storage capacity. We need the more of the guys like the likes of Kwale Hydrocarbon. We need those guys. We need more of them. Unfortunately, or will I say unfortunately, they produce more propane. So we need more of this butane propane mix. And again, we need to also understand the containers, which is the cylinders where we put this CNG or LPG, because again, most of the cylinders that come into Nigeria are propane rated anyways. So, but because of safety and issues with the explosion, you know, when you put a propane LPG in a butane rated tank, obviously it's gonna explode. So the cylinder exchange system is another thing. The likes of the other companies are doing, and they want to adopt the cylinder exchange system, which will help. So you don't need to own a cylinder by exchanging. But again, people have said, oh, this has been tried many, many years ago. But trust me, there's a different approach. There's a huge demand for gas now. So a new approach must be adopted, and people need to actually, who own the licenses to do and process this gas, need to actually sell, because we also have guys that own licenses, but they don't really do the gas. They give it to another company to process the gas, and again, they have to get their own cut. So the money-making process is just too messy in that manner. So we need to actually have people that have been given these licenses to actually be the one doing the gas production and doing the gas sales. They don't need to be the gas logistics. You know, other guys can take over, but they need to cut those middlemen. There's too many of them in between, and those are reflecting on prices as well.
Shegu, the way you're speaking, it seems that everything is just so perfect, especially around, yeah, especially around LPG production. I do know that definitely LNG, they have a quota they have to produce locally. They also export. They get a lot of dollars. They give back to the government as dividends and all of that. But the way you're saying it is as if we've gotten to El Dorado. Is Uhuru yet in Nigeria? Because I know that there are issues about storage, not just even about production, and some certain issues, FX, which I talked about earlier. So many issues, infrastructure, you know. So it seems everything is Uhuru. If everything is Uhuru, so why are we in this kind of crisis now, apart from the international component of it, which I mentioned earlier? Because if you have your acts right, at least locally, if a blow is coming to you, you should be able to at least withstand it a bit. It should be like 1/5. The international component of it, 1/5. But the other things, 4 things are resting with you locally. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. It is a whole lot, Nancy. You see, there are times whereby this depot, we beg you to come and buy LPG from them. So, you know, they have LPG, they are not able to sell out because of pricing. And there are some of these depots that they have to checkmate prices. Some watch other people to give their price out and before they give their own price. So do we have enough storage facilities? I can say yes and no, depending on how we want to attend or attach to the whole thing. I've had people say, oh, but you don't live in Nigeria, you live there, you don't know what's going on. But I say, I'm always in Nigeria practically 4 or 5 times a year. You know, we have all our assets there as well. So, but the reality is there are deficits on the infrastructure for refueling stations, not the ones we all see everywhere. No, the storage facilities have, for instance, you have to transport LPG from Lagos to Adamawa. You have to transport LPG from Lagos to Kaduna. One of the companies has got a storage facility in Kaduna and in Jos. These 2 facilities are not working, you know? So because the reason why, if they have to take a whole lot of LPG there and store, they have to pay for storage, they have to pay for staff there, they have to pay for security. That price will now be added to the cost that they will sell to the masses. So there's a whole lot of things that need to just be untangled and rearranged. But these are going to be done by these businessmen and women. You know, it has to reflect on the price. But yes, deficit, like you said, in terms of infrastructure is there, but we still have some infrastructures that are not being used. You know, we have one in Calabar that is not being used. It's been there, almost 8,000 metric ton storage facility. You know, yeah, they were talking about dredging. Maybe that's the reason. But we've had successful companies in Delta that has built a facility. One of the major northern companies built another storage facility in Delta. So there's going to be a lot of storage facility, but there are some that are not actually being used. So, but again, how much more storage do you need to build if there's not enough LPG to go around? That's the question. That's it.
So for this LPG now that it's still, the price is still high, do you think that there's a way that we can handle it so that the financial burden on Nigerians may reduce? Because you see, many Nigerians right now, some Nigerians are on minimum wage, not many Nigerians, just some Nigerians are employed by the government. So they are on minimum wage. Those that are not on minimum wage are the rest of us, poor people that live on $1.99 a day. These are people that are not using gas, definitely. They are using charcoal, they are using firewood, get sticks and all of that at the back of their houses or in front to cook their meals. So how do you think that this financial burden can be reduced, though the government has said there's really nothing we can do? But as an expert, do you think that there's a way that we can look for a solution?
The players are the solution. The players are the solution. These guys, they have the knife and fork and everything in their hands. They can decide what happens to the price of gas. Those guys are the big guys. They took the bold step to build those facilities. Don't forget that. You know, up until a few years ago, storage facility in Apapa were not really working. You know, so the players are the solution. It's a market that is booming. They have a choice. They have to factor in anything. They are not going to sell at loss. Let's not forget that. And the banks are not really smiling to them either. They are hitting them hard. So these guys, we have to translate all of these things into profit making. And they have families as well. They have people they have to pay salaries to. So the players are the solution. Like I said, price is quick to go up and slow to come down. You know, so how quick can these guys be honest with their price reduction to reflect the masses, reducing the burden? But the honest, unfortunate truth is Christmas is just around the corner. They ain't gonna do that now. If they do that, Jesus has visited one of them quicker, you know. But these guys are the solutions to all of these issues in terms of pricing. But again, on the plus side, the price on the international market is gone up. They buy from there, even though they buy from the shores of Africa, whereby ships are all laying down there and they're waiting. But again, some of these guys have ordered for the next 3, 4, 5 ships that are coming. So these guys are the guys that will solve these issues. But I'm sure after January, there will be less money to spend, and they will now say, okay, let's review our price. Then you can see price coming down.
So for me,
yeah, it's down to the players, I'm afraid, not the government, but the players.
Shagu, is sounding to me like we're having a gas cartel. You know anything about oil, crude, and its byproducts comes with cartel? Ooh, and so much money, you know, oil dollars, fuel dollars, gas dollars. That's seemingly looking like a good business Now, how about the government component of it? Because you're exonerating the government, so to speak. The Nigerian Customs Service has imposed taxes on the importers. Though the FG has said, okay, we're going to exempt that, NCS wrote to the importers to pay even the arrears, I think from 2019 or so, about 27 billion naira. Of course, that will be a cost that will be added to the consumers.
Yeah, but if you look at the tax, I don't know the figure, but the tax is not that much, you know. So when I say it's not that much, you know, here in the UK, 45% on import. So I stand to be corrected. I'm looking at, I think it's between 15 and 20% VAT and tax or wherever it is.
But the UK has a working system, Segun. The UK has a working system. The UK has better systems than us. The UK, the infrastructure is there. The UK storage facilities, the UK, all the other things we are talking about. FX is stable. £1 is almost also to $1. Here, $1 is worth 415, I and E window. So there are different vagaries, really.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Nancy. I agree with you. There's quite a lot of things that you have to also factor. If the tax is removed, and these guys will say they are not getting access to airfares from the banks, they have to buy black market. If even the inflow dollar is not cheap either, and again, there's restrictions on the use of these FX. So the good thing is the solution to all of this is if we can stop importation, you know, like you said, we have practically number 9s in the world. I think 8 now, or even 7. Why are we importing LPG if we can source it locally? You know, of every natural gas, there's an extraction of all of these gases, LPG, LNG, link gas, and all of that. You know, so these guys will always find something to pin on the pricing, and trust me, there's too many pins to pick and to justify their pricing. But again, you mentioned cartel. I would not want to agree to that. But there are meetings whereby these guys, I've challenged one of them before. You bought the last ship, was at this price. You've not loaded another one since then, but your price has increased almost 5 times. Are you saying there's a pipe that transport LPG to your depot? No, but these guys will reflect the price based on the current market sales, which is good. That's business. But how much can we use it to care about the masses?
Okay.
But I don't know, Nancy. I don't have an answer to that. But it's down to them.
Segun, just 30 seconds because we've got to go. I want to know your view on the National Gas Expansion Program, the NGEP. We also have the gas flare commercialization program. Also the PIA, which the government, which the president signed just a few months ago. How do you think all this will play out for the gas market? In 30 seconds, we've got to go.
Yeah, PIA is good. We are happy for that. NGEP, which I'm very, very much involved with, is how to get gas to practically everywhere. And the government and the chairman of NGEP, which is Dr. is with his team. They are working to achieve that. So we are hoping there's going to be gas expansion and how gas will be injected, you know, and the gas commercialization. We need to see more gas in the system and not re-injected into the or flared. So we are hoping for the best. It's a whole lot of a journey, but until a journey is started, we are not sure of when it's going to finish, Nancy. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Segun, for sharing your perspectives today. I wish you a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
All right,
thank you. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. I've been speaking with Oluwasegun Olajuwan, who is the founder of Auto Gas Africa. We've been looking at gas issues in Nigeria. That's the much we can take on today's edition of the program. Thank you all for joining us. Be the best you can be and be that change that you want to see. I am Nancy Naji. Bye for now.